Generations of Tofu Mastery, a Chinatown Chronicle.
It opened in 1933 by my grandfather and partners. At that point, it was just, my family was the only ones still running it. Partners had left or gone away a long time ago. And everybody just got too old and everybody was retiring and they didn't want to do it anymore. And there was nobody else to carry it forward. In fact, I didn't want to carry it forward.
I was actually proud of him because after we met, he always kept telling me stories about his family and his grandparents and the parents who built that business. And I was happy for him that he will continue to do the same because I think it's a family history. It's very important.
Yeah, so I was working in Russia as a photographer. And the motivation, just like most people's motivation, is children. I had my first child and I just really had to consider other ways of making a living to feed my family, especially after coming back I had a second child here. So it seemed like a good idea to restart the family business because it had a solid reputation. I knew the business well and the business had fed my entire family. I thought it would be stable. I did recreate it after a long time. It was, when the recipes were created, but nobody kept track of those changes and nobody kept track of the measurements. When I had to recreate it, I had to speak to old employees, my mom, whoever who still remembered the recipes. And unfortunately, their memory of it was very fuzzy. So I had to take what they were saying and match it up to the science. I wanted to modernize it. Before we used to make, especially the rice cakes that we made, we used to make it with gigantic woks, and that used a lot of gas. It was really hot in the kitchen. It was always over 100 degrees in the kitchen, and I didn't want to do that. So I had to kind of retrofit the recipe for something more modern, like a steam cabinet. I just was guided by my taste. I just kept on doing it until it tastes like my memory. I've done music, I've done photography from a commercial career standpoint. I've also done graphic design, art direction from a career standpoint. Of course there is art, but it kind of soured me on those things like photography and music. And then switching to tofu obviously was difficult, but at the same time I realized it's still creative because I was still recreating something, creating something. He would be happy, but he would also kind of say, I told you so, because when he was still alive, from childhood, he would always be saying, you're gonna take over one day and you're gonna continue the business. And of course, much like most Asian fathers, he was very insistent that I do exactly what he told me, that it was his way or the highway, and of course, my answer was always, no, I'm not doing it. No, 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 no. So he'd be happy, laughing, and also telling me that you should have listened to me from the start, and you wouldn't have to have gone through all this. My future plans for Fong On would definitely be growing. I mean, you just can't do something and not grow. I have ideas for expansion for maybe another location, which would be more of a restaurant type of thing, where we would specialize in tofu.